Okay, so Manny, can you jump onto the next slide? I think we're starting off. Okay, so let's start off with what makes a successful agents and what they do every day. From my own experience, while knowing good sales tactics is beneficial to real estate agents, you don't always need to make the hard sell right off the bat. In fact, there are many times when separating yourself from the stereotype of a pushy real estate agent can actually help your career. Early on when I first started, it was all about, your photography skills and taking nice pictures for the house, or your ability to sort of write a very nice description on, your listing. And even if you're starting for a deal, think of yourself as a consultant to your clients rather than a salesperson. That will definitely give you, better results. You'll also want to focus on your soft skills, including people skills, self-motivation and problem solving, which are some of the top abilities that, us real estate agents need. We're all independent contractors here. So, succeeding as an independent contractor and being in control of your growth means thinking like a small business rather than as an employee, pretty much. You have to learn to invest in your relationships, work towards long-term goals, also learn what you can about marketing, create a business that is sort of portable and flexible and able to move and grow with you. You'll be much more able to weather changes in the market like what we're going through right now than someone who sort of isn't thinking like a business owner. So always think about your long-term success, and yeah, having a business plan is probably one of the most important things that a successful agent, does. Don't let your enthusiasm for getting a client right away sort of keep you from important business organizing and planning tasks. Take time to sort of understand your market and customers, and identify what sets you apart from other agents. Develop the right tools and skills and sort of ensure that your business grows, and always educate yourself on the important skills that you currently lack. Let's see, what else? Collegiate. While you're growing and prospecting your base, think beyond just getting your first client and having sort of a concrete plan for how you will grow your business. Don't always sort of look to pay for services and leads as new agents. There is a business model, but not one that will sort of benefit you early on. Sort of go out there and develop real relationships with clients and make connections. Sponsor a local team, be seen in the community pretty much, and go. I mean, it's tough to do door to door right now, but that's what I did back then. But I used to invite all the neighbors and everything to all my open houses, and all that sort of doesn't cost any money compared to sending out flyers and stuff. You will definitely get a better return on your time and money for the cheap free stuff that just takes effort. And because most agents don't put in that effort, you sort of stand out a little bit more. Also, don't assume, for example, that telling your family and friends about your new career means you'll start receiving plenty of referral business. The more leads you have, the better your odds will be to close a deal. Therefore, your business depends on maintaining a steady stream of incoming new prospective leads, which is a process sort of what we're going to be talking about, which is lead generation. And hey, Vang, can you go on to the next slide?
Yep.
One more. One more.
Oh.
Yeah, I think this is the one that works. Yeah, that one. So there's plenty of ways for sort of lead generation and prospecting. I mean, right now we're sort of in a tough state right now, and because of the COVID and everything. But for me, my biggest one was open house. So that was probably 90% of where all my leads came from, and because of everything that's going on right now, and most likely we're done for the year as far as open houses. Sort of the business model sort of had to change a little bit on my end, and right now my main focus is on my sphere of influence. It's you just have to be a little careful on your really close friends, and some of your family members, and because it's very salesy, so your family, your friends, your colleagues, your teachers, the teachers, hairdressers, or anyone that you might know pretty much falls in that category, and you should be able to sort of generate leads.
Oh, hi, this is Elaine.
Say that again?
Oh, sorry. No.
So yeah, like I was like, make an effort to sort of collect contact information from everyone that you meet, especially their email addresses, because they could change their phone numbers and stuff, but they'll never change their email addresses. And when you're asking for leads, don't be overbearing, but at the same time, don't be shy either. Your friends may know you as a real estate agent, but that doesn't mean that they'll remember to call you when the time comes to sell their home. So then, they may think that you only do rentals, or you don't do sales, or that you only cover one neighborhood when you cover the whole entire city. So even your family needs reminding as well.
Mm-hmm.
So try to reach out to your clients regularly. Let people know, you're always happy to help answer questions without obligations. Make them feel comfortable coming to you without making them feel like they have to hire you if you do. Connect with people first, and if it leads to business, great, but don't sweat it if nothing sort of comes of the effort in the beginning. You may not see the immediate payout, but sort of don't give up on your sphere of influence. They play a big part in generating some of your best and most rewarding real estate leads. There's nothing more flattering sort of than someone calling you because someone else had a great experience working with you. Another one that I would probably share that was really beneficial for me was sort of farming your neighborhood. Farming for leads means you focus your effort on a particular area or neighborhood, and to increase your name recognition in that one place. So you can do this through mailers, community involvement, door knocking. If your name's out there, you increase the chance that someone will call you when they need a real estate agent. Farming can be sometimes challenging, especially for new agents, since you might end up farming another agent's turf. But don't let that scare you. Don't let that stop you. Some people prefer to work with newer and hungrier agents instead of those that's more established. So try sending postcards, introducing yourself with sales and market data. So yeah. And then,
So you kind of went over that.
Yeah. And then I think the last one that I've sort of been trying to focus on is sort of more on networking. Most likely online. There's no gatherings right now, but it's something that I'm sort of working on, and also what Amanda is going to be going on is YouTube, which I'll probably try and sort of jump into that as well. And Amanda's probably going to have a really good presentation about that. But as far as right now, Wilson, do you want to take over a bit?
Yep, I'm ready to take over.
Okay, so I'm gonna make you a host now.
Okay, 1 second while I do the screen share. Hey guys, can you guys see my slides? You guys can type in chat. I'm actually monitoring the chat.
I see them. Can you put it on full screen, please?
On what?
Can you put it on full screen? It's not on full screen.
1 second. Sorry, I'm not used to being a host.
It's okay.
Can you guys see it right now?
Perfect.
Oh, is this better?
Oh, wait, it went back out to the
Is this better
editing.
right now?
No, it's
Good.
Okay. Okay, hey guys, thank you, Davis. My name is Wilson. So right now I'm supposed to go through the lead generation model with you guys. So for the majority of my presentation, I'm just basically going to stick to this particular slide as well. This is the entire model of a lead generation, and I'm just going to go through it. Okay. But before I begin, hi, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Wilson. I've been in KW Silicon City for 2 years now. And this 2 years is the entirety of my real estate career. In fact, August, this particular month is my 24th anniversary, 24th month anniversary, and also means I restart my CAP, next month. Okay.
Woo!
Yay!
So before I go into the presentation, I just want a show of hands, like how many of you guys are actually new to the business? Anybody in the chat window or something? I don't think you're new to the business, so. Okay. And the reason I asked that is, although I'm celebrating my 24th month anniversary, I just want you guys to take a guess. When do you think I closed my first deal?
After your first year?
No, I did not close a deal in my first 12 months of business at all. Okay. Just to jump the gun a bit, I only closed my first deal in the 17th month of my business, and that was like February. Just February of this year, that was when I closed my first deal. For the first 16 months, I did not have anything. Okay, but if you want the good news of it is from February until now, I've 8 pending and I have 1 active coming up. In total, I should have closed $10 million in the last 7 months. And how I did it? Lead generation. Ooh, once you find a way to lead generate, once you find the niche that you are good in, your business can take off. And so basically today's our sharing is to encourage you to find what is the lead generation model for you, because everybody is different. Okay. So I consider myself a relatively new agent because I closed my first deal only 5 months ago. And what really changed for me is basically how I approach the business. Okay, I think all of us here have been through this cycle here, all of us here in this webinar, that you all understand that our business lives and dies with lead generation. Okay, your whole career lives and dies with lead generation, whether you're new or old. Okay, I don't care how you do it, you just must do it. Lead generation is your business. Okay, but the thing that I want to tell people here is there are you guys keep asking things like, oh, how do you lead generate? I received about 10 to 12 phone calls in the past 3 months from agents about, oh, Wilson, I see you're doing this and this and this. Is this how you lead generate? Oh, Wilson, is this how you lead generate? What I usually answer to people is, I don't really care how you lead generate as long as you do it. Okay, so for me personally, if you look at the lead generation model, before I go into the details, my lead generation comes from 3 primary sources. Number 1, sphere of influence. Everybody does it. Sphere of influence only accounts for about 20% of my business. This number 2 will be open houses. Open houses account for another 30% of my business. So for the newer agents here, I understand that you guys don't really have the open house opportunities right now, but don't worry, it will come back. So hang in there. I mean, you will get opportunity in the long run, okay? And lastly, and this has been my biggest segment for the last 6 months or so since shelter in place, is social media. Now, before I describe to you what I do in social media later on, just note that I don't use social media just on my wall. I use it in a lot of different ways. Specifically, I do a lot of community targeting. When I present later on again, you're going to hear me use the word community quite a fair bit. I rarely do one-to-one marketing. My marketing is usually to an entire audience, 200, 300 people. And I'll try to show you examples later of what I am doing. Although if you're my friend on Facebook, you'll probably see what I am already doing. Okay. Okay. So just to go through the Ignite slides, every single sale starts off as a lead generated. If that is, I don't care whether it's a warm, cold lead or just you're just being plain lucky, but every sale starts off as a lead. Okay. If you do not generate leads, you do not have appointments. And if you do not have appointments, it means you have no closed sales, no referrals, which ultimately means you have no income. And that's when everybody quits the business, right? Okay. And that's the theoretical side of it. Okay. And this particular model that you see down here, this, this fancy lead generation model, which by the way, this model is integrated into KW Command already. So after I read my presentation, Amanda will take over from me to explain to you how this lead generation model works in KW Command. Okay. The whole point for this model is, number one, is to help agents quantify and see your own numbers. Okay, sales is a pure numbers game. Okay, does it take you 100 leads to get one sale, or does it take you 10? Okay, everybody is different because the methods you use are different. How well established you build your leads is different. Everyone is different. When I first started off the business, remember my first 17 months, I had no business. I think I probably lost about 7 to 9 clients before I managed to close my first one. Okay, and that is just, like I said, it's a numbers game. And by my 10th one, I just managed to close myself. As simple as that. Okay, and number two, once you know your numbers, it actually helps you keep track of what your pipeline looks like. Now, a lot of people, when you talk about sales, a lot of people are past focused. You guys like to look like, oh, congratulations, you closed this particular sale. You closed this particular sale. I prefer to focus more on what I call a pipeline. A pipeline means I know how many clients I have coming up, how many clients I have, coming active this month, next month, 6 months from now. Again, this one I will show with you later on. So the thing that I'm very proud of my particular business right now is not about the sales that I have closed, is that I pretty much have a full pipeline all the way till January or February of next year. That is the part that, gives me a lot of comfort, and it makes me more casual about how I do my business. Okay, but I'm still lead generating. I'm still hustling every single day. Okay, if you're my friends on Facebook, you know what I'm doing. Okay. Now, but sales funnels, by the way, it's not just random. It's not luck. You might get lucky once or twice for certain sales. For example, Amanda will share with you how she got a sale from a YouTube channel, later on. But typically, when we talk about sales funnels and what we are doing, our activities, for example, Rick actually called me last week and I explained to him that all these activities, the funnel that you are building, the pipeline, it takes about 12 months to 18 months before you can demand to see results. Last month, I closed three sales in my own community-based approach. And this community-based approach, I started all the way back in 2018. 2018, I closed today. So what's the timeline? About 60 months? About 60 months of work before I managed to close the sales. But I managed to close 3 of them at full commission. So you guys can figure out, what's the revenue and what's the profit like. Okay. So going back to this model again, what is the first step of lead generation? Anybody here has the answer? Anybody want to unmute yourself or something? What is the number one thing on top right there?
Brian says prospecting.
Yep. The first thing that we all should do should be prospecting and marketing. And the question we all have is like, how much of your time you actually devote to doing prospecting and marketing? How many of you guys actually did either of these activities yesterday? Like, how many of you actually did all these activities last week? A lot of the phone calls I received from the newer agents and all were like, oh, Wilson, I called you because I did not know how to prospect and market and all that. Again, everyone is different. I can show you how I do it, but my ways might be very, very, very different from yours because my audience is very different from yours. Okay. The only thing I know is that if your marketing and prospecting your activities is a 0, I can foresee your sales next month, next month, and 6 months down the road. If your prospecting is 0, it will be 0 later on down the line. Okay. And if your answer to prospecting and marketing is I don't know, you have a problem. Okay. And I'm going to digress a moment. I just want to speak directly to the newer agents here again. Do not fall into the trap that, you know, thinking that you go for training, seminars, and all is actually doing work. Okay. Do not make the mistake of, you know, doing all these activities and assuming that, oh, I had a full day of work. Oh, I learned so much today, when you did not lead generate. Right now, my mindset has shifted quite a fair bit from when I first joined. And if you do not lead generate, you basically do not have a working day. Okay. And this is a very common trap for us to fall into. People who use activities to justify that, oh, I am a realtor. If you are avoiding doing lead generation work, either by picking up the phone, going door knocking, whatever it is you do, you're not doing your job. Okay. And again, to share my experiences, remember the 3 lead generation activities I mentioned earlier? The 3 big things that I did. The first one was open houses. Now, when I first joined this particular industry, I was very reluctant to do open houses because I thought that I wouldn't be able to get clients from it because I had an accent, because I know I've a lot of drunk monkeys in my head to stop me from thinking about all these things. And it took me 4.5 months before I started doing my first open house. Okay. 4.5 months means there's about 140 days wasted of not doing open houses. But once I did my first open house, thanks to Alan Wang and Chris Liu for giving me my first open house, I did 40. In the year 2019, I did 40 out of 40 weekends out of 52 weekends. Basically, open houses were my lifeblood back in 2019 before the rest of my sales channel picked up. Okay. And it took me about 7 months for me to engage the second part of my pipeline, which is the community and social media aspect. And this one, actually, the person I have to thank for this is actually Lupita. So about late 2018, I attended a particular training session with Lupita about, she and Carl were doing a lot of physical activities. She was doing things like, you know, hosting movie sessions. She was like giving out cream pies during Thanksgiving and all that. I really couldn't understand because I'm not in the USA been for very long. So when they did all this kind of stuff, I was like, why are we doing all that? I didn't understand. Okay. But it just clicked to me that what they were selling me wasn't telling me, here, give a cream pie to your client. They weren't telling me that. They were telling me, find a way. Just find a way to reach your audience. For Thanksgiving, for Americans, it's about cream pies. I'm supposed to give moon cakes during my Mid-Autumn Festival. Okay, so less than a month after that particular training with Lupita, I actually volunteered with my local Singaporean organization here. I'm Singaporean, by the way, to host the Lunar New Year gathering. And that was when everything took off. So one thing I like to share with you guys is you'll be surprised how much opportunity there is out there for you, simply because you're willing to put in the sweat equity. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking purely sweat equity. You'll be surprised how many people out there need volunteers to lead projects, to just do something for the community. Because a lot of volunteers, they work 8 to 5 jobs. They don't really have the flexibility of the realtors. And for events, to give you an example, I'm hosting an event this Saturday for about 300 families all across the United States for our Singapore National Day. And I wasn't the lead or anything for this. I was just asked to go along for the ride because they needed volunteers. And that's one thing I want to tell you guys is that if you're asking me, oh, Wilson, I do not know how to do any of these events, just go and try. Just go out there, reach out to someone, just try and just do it. I don't see a lot of people in our offices being very active in community groups like PTAs or anything. My stand is I'm having wonderful results with this, and you will see later on like how many leads I've gotten from this project. These community projects that I'm doing, I've gotten easily about 13, 14 leads in the last 5 months. Okay. And then number one reason they tell me about why they're using me, because they can't find a realtor, because they do not know any other realtors. So put yourself out there and just get involved. Okay. And the last part of my lead generation strategy is my sphere of influence. Now, again, for the newer agents out there, all I can tell you is it gets progressively easier. Okay, like what David said earlier, you don't target them. You don't go in there, hey, you guys want to sell a house? Use me. I'm a number one realtor. You cannot say you are a number one realtor. You have to show you are a number one realtor. And once you realize that once you have a few deals under your belt and you have experience, the way you talk changes and the way people engage you changes. And this month, I've already received 2 referrals from my SOI. They just come about, right? Because of the way I talk and the way I present myself on social media and whatever has changed very drastically. Okay. And the question I want to pose to the new realtors out there would be, if you've been in the business for 6 months to 1 year, what have you done? What have you done to lead generate, to prospect, to market yourself? Okay. And this question, it's very dear to my heart, because I think for all you other more senior agents who saw me in the office, I was in the office every day. I was attending every training session. I was attending every learning session, engaging other realtors. But looking back, what I actually did back then and right now, my activities are completely different. In a nutshell, I was lying to myself. I was procrastinating. I was doing everything that was easily accessible to me, but I was not lead generating. So the whole point of this big picture for you is basically to just narrow down what lead generation is and just turn it into a numbers game. Okay. And if you're not lead generating, you need to consider what you're doing with your time. Okay. And the end result speaks for itself. It took me 17 months to make my first sale with that previous mindset. But once I shifted my mindset to just lead generating, for example, I send about 2,000 to 6,000 messages every single day through social media. I don't call. I like typing a lot of stuff. Things change. I'm reaching out to a lot of people right now. Okay, but partially because I'm now belong to several groups that allow me to reach out to 300 people with one single message. Okay, and moving on. Okay, this is the gist of the stuff again. Lead generation here can be broken down into 2 very simple starting points: prospecting and marketing. Okay, anybody here can tell me the difference? What's prospecting and what's marketing? Anybody?
Prospecting is being proactive, and then marketing is the opposite.
Yeah. The way I like to think about it is that prospecting is outbound. Prospecting means it is very, like what you said, it's very direct. It means you as the realtor, you are actively going out there to reach people. You are either calling them, texting them, and engaging them. Now, how you choose to engage them, whether is it for real estate or is it for other things, it's up to you. I had a lot of success reaching out as a community leader rather than as a realtor. I have a lot of people who engage me as a realtor because I was a community leader. So I hope you understand. They don't see me as oh, you're just a realtor, I'm here to do business with you. They say like, hey, Wilson, I see you're doing a lot for the community. By the way, I know you're also in real estate. Would you like to help me? And that changes the whole dynamics of the engagement. Okay, I do not have to answer questions about discount agents and all that kind of stuff. Usually when they ask me to be that realtor, I am in the driving seat. I decide on everything. They don't really bargain with me. Okay. On the other hand, advertising is inbound, meaning you as the realtor, you're doing things a little bit more passively. You have systems meaning ads or whatever set up that actually direct the people to you, but you are there waiting for the people to call you. Okay, so prospecting outbound, advertising inbound. Okay, but the problem with advertising is they tend to be paid options, meaning usually you need to spend a lot of money. So one thing to note about advertising is every big agent out there is doing it. If you're spending $5 a day on ads, the Boyenga team and the third team is probably spending like 5,000 a day on ads. You want to compete against them? Think about it. Think about your strategy to compete against these big boys. Okay, which leads to the next point. For the newer agents again, which one do you think is more cost effective or cheaper for you to start with? Okay, a lot of people I see, a lot of realtors like, oh, how do I get business? Oh, I need to spend money to get leads and everything. you need to spend money. That's definite. But just a heads up for you. I've closed 9 deals, 10 deals. I've spent less than $2,000 on any of this stuff. Okay, I believe in putting more sweat equity instead of money into the business. Okay, $2,000 is peanuts in this business. It's like 1/10 of a paycheck. Okay, and how I did it is because I did a lot of prospecting, but the way I'm doing it is slightly different, which I'll share again later on. Okay, and which one is better? That's always a question, like prospecting or advertising. A lot of people look at the big agents out there and they say like, oh, my advertising is better. I need to market myself like these guys so that I can get business. But what I found out is that, especially if you do open houses, which some of you can do next time, clients actually like realtors to be proactive. They actually like realtors out there to show their hustle versus being realtors who just sit down there and, you know, for inbound. Even for your SOI, even for friends around you, do not assume that they are going to give their business to you. You need to be proactive. You need to go outside there and ask for business. Okay. And where I learned this from Amanda. Amanda, do you remember last year you gave a training about this $1.5 million deal where they weren't considering you as the agent, but then you suddenly just went in there and said, hey, have you guys considered me? Those twins, the investment twins?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that was a tough one.
Yeah, I think Amanda can tell you the story, how she got that sale. And I remember this because I attended all your trainings. She just went out there and said, hey guys, would you like to at least give me a try? If you do not put yourself out there, guys, you never know. Okay, and a lot of times, I'm not as aggressive or as direct. I'm a bit more shy. In a way, I'm a bit more shy. But I like to put myself out to people as the second choice. A lot of people, they are very reluctant to change agents, especially if they have one that they are satisfied with. But what I do is, no, it's okay. You can use whoever you want. But if you need a second option or just a second opinion, just to check on certain papers or anything, I'm always there for you. And that has gotten me angles to get in, especially if the first agent were to screw up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's it. The most important thing is actually the cost for the newer agents. Prospecting, making your calls, putting in the time is very important because you guys are broke. You guys don't have the money. If you told me 2 years ago to put in $5,000 a year to do this business, I'd be like, you're crazy. I do not have $5,000 a year. But once your prospecting engine takes off, I'm in the position to consider long-term advertising, long-term farming for geographical reasons. But what is supporting my advertising campaign? It's my prospecting. Okay, I'm expecting my advertising, if I were to start right now, August 4th, I expect my first sale from advertising 2022. I mean, guys, you just need to put in the time. Everything takes time. Everything takes effort. If you think you're going to start something today and get a result tomorrow, dream on. Okay, because if you think you're hustling, people like Amanda, we're all hustling much harder than you. Okay, and that's it. So until you reach your goals, be the type of agent that focuses on prospecting instead of spending thousands on advertising. Okay, so now in a little bit, I'm going to go through what I do to lead generate. But before that, let me pass the time over to Amanda, who will talk to you about databases for your leads generated.
Wilson, you have a hand up in the chat or in the participants column. I think Rick Contreras has a question. Are you going to take questions at the end, or we want to take them as they come?
Rick, you want to say something?
Oh, me? I think we should just wait until the end.
Okay.
To cover everything, to make sure we're on time and
Perfect.
go through the session. Yeah.
Okay, Amanda, on to you.
Do you want to make me the host? Okay.
Do this. Make you host. Make host. Okay.
Okay. So hi everyone. If you don't know me, I'm Amanda. This is going to be my 4th year in the business. So let me share. And I'm going to be talking about YouTube. So when I first got into the business, a lot, just like Davis, a lot of my clients are from open houses. So I would say about 90% of all my clients are through open houses. I found that with me, it's easier for me to kind of show my personality. I'm more a personable person. So open house was a perfect opportunity for me. So it is very important that you kind of understand who you are, what kind of clients you want to attract, because there's so many different people out there. If you look at the DISC test, there's D, I, S, and C's, right? You can't connect with everyone. So you have to find your niche. So the first few years, I kind of figured out my type of clientele, and just based on looking back at my past clients. And last year, I would say like all my clients that I met through open houses, they have talked and worked with other realtors and it just didn't work out. So if they're working with me, that just kind of shows that we have a connection. So I didn't really have to, you know, do any hard sell, or I don't have to do any discount. And then touching on what Wilson have mentioned about my sellers last year, the twins, even though they are a part of the group, like my investor group, I still have to try very hard to get that listing, to put yourself up there. Just because you're a realtor, they're not going to always remember you, and they might not even consider you, because sometimes they might think that, oh, you're too busy, you don't have time for me. Or, you know, I hear so many things like, oh, you're different, like you're high class, I'm a lower price point, you might not want me. And so like there's all these misconceptions in people's mind. So always put yourself out there. So because this year I can't do open houses, like I literally planned my entire business plan on open houses, and that was also why I got an assistant. But then because it didn't work out, I thought, what else could I do in lead generation that could be cost effective? Like I don't need to spend a lot of money. So then YouTube kind of came into mind, because I've always wanted a YouTube channel. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you'll know that I do a lot of like Michael's cooking videos just for fun, and I really enjoy those things. And yeah, I just always wanted YouTube. So what I'm going to cover today is pretty much why YouTube, which I kind of already went over, my ideal clientele, how do I conquer my fears, my equipment, video editing, call to action, schedule, and results. So those are going to be the key points I'm going to go over. So again, YouTube, because it doesn't cost me much money. You know, 4 years in the business, I've already have so much knowledge, and I get the same questions over and over again. How can I make it easier, or where can I direct my clients if they're going to ask me the same questions? So I think, okay, why don't I just document everything that I know? And honestly, I'm not like an online person in general. Like I don't know SEOs. I don't even know, like, I don't understand how everything works. So when COVID happened, I spent a lot of time just researching, YouTubing, reading. So I spent all that time doing productive things in that sense. I also figured that because I call myself an introvert, and I know like people like me, we tend to do a lot of our own research online, and that the video would be a perfect opportunity for me to kind of show that aspect, because I can't do open house anymore. And before COVID started, a past client referred a buyer to me. And when I talked to them, they mentioned that they watched all my testimony videos and that I was a perfect personality for them. And so then I was like, and that's when the light bulb went on. I was like, oh my gosh, like I should probably do more videos, because they had a lender in mind and they wouldn't change lender, and they didn't want to change realtors. And so then I kind of figured, okay, this I don't know, there might be something here that I need to discover. And so during COVID, I also reread the Shift book, and it talks a lot about online lead generation. And I knew that I wanted to incorporate that in my business plan. And towards the end of last year, I also spoke with Tam too, and he highly encouraged me, one of my lead generation pillar, I need to add online online lead. I don't know how to do Facebook ads. Like I'm not like, I don't fully understand it to make, you know, the best out of it. And so with COVID, I think it's just time. And let's see. And I want a more online presence. So earlier this year, like I haven't done much production as I wanted to. I should have, like after seeing like what had happened with COVID, but I spent a lot of time with my back end. So like I was heavily getting my clients to write reviews on my Zillow, my Google, my Facebook reviews. So it was a lot of those things that I was trying to build. And again, YouTube doesn't cost a lot of money at all. Let me go to the next one. YouTube. So it's content marketing. There's a quote here, content marketing is a commitment, not a campaign. So this is a long term. And so I kind of see this as farming. It can take anywhere from 6 to 12 months to generate leads. When you're doing YouTube, you have to think about contribution-based mindset. You simply want to put out as much content as you can and being honest and hope that you can add value to people, because that's the whole point of people watching videos on YouTube is learn how to cook, learn how to do this and that. And so you have to be okay just sharing your secret sauce or things that you do and just give it away. Because that's just going to show the viewers that you're knowledgeable and that they can trust you. So build trust and being likable. So before I got into YouTube, I kind of looked back at my past clients, like their demographics, just their age and all that, to kind of have a better understanding who I want to target so I can create my content towards them. And so they're all millennials, first-time home buyers, and they're somewhat introverts like me, and they're people like me. And so I know like people like myself, we don't trust people easily. And so it's one of those things where, I don't know, it comes down to personality and like the way that they talk and things like that. So there's no right or wrong answer about who your ideal client should be. Like you can target empty nesters, people downsizing, and they create content just for that, or, you know, moving to a retirement home. Like there's so much things that you can do. I just happen to, all my clients just happen to be millennials, and I just want to talk about first-time home buyers. So I got started, and then Franco also did a session, I think early on during COVID, about his equipment and things like that. It kind of aligned to some of the things I already have, which is great, because I know he does a lot of videos, and I just kind of confirmed that I have the right things. So I have my lights. Again, if you're going to do YouTube videos, it's very important that you have good lighting. Like no one wants to kind of like watch a video that it's not really, I don't know, it just doesn't look good. So you want to attract them and make sure that they stay on your video. So then I got the mic, 18-inch ring, and then an Osmo. So believe it or not, during COVID, we learned how to use the Osmo. So right now, all the property tours that we're doing, Michael, my partner, he does all the B-rolls. Like, because I've done videos in the past with my testimonials, I have some basic understandings of like the terms, like just things in videos in general. So then now, like when we're working, we're doing things, it's a lot easier to communicate with other video editors on things that we want done. And so it's just good to spend some time to understand the basic. Again, it's very cost effective. It's only $566, not including tax or shipping or any of that. But this is all the equipment that I use. Okay, video editing. So when I first started, if you have a Mac, iMovie is free. You don't have to go pay like all like Adobe Premiere. Like that's only if you're a graphic designer and you have the time, or you went to school for it, because it's a lot to take in and try to learn within a few months. So iMovie is very easy to use. You can find everything on YouTube, so watch tutorials. And then at first, it's always important that you learn how to do the job before you pass it on to someone, because you always need to quality check your videos or anything that you're doing. So I did the first few ones, and then my assistant, I had her also learn how to do all that, like the video editing. So now she's doing my educational videos. So I will come up with the content, I shoot the video, I film everything, and then I do like the basic editing where to save her time, because her time is more about like the graphics, the B-roll. I sync the audio, I cut out not necessary parts. So it was just very small things that I can do that could help her to be more efficient on her end. And then she was doing videos for a month, and again, it's a lot. I'm not gonna lie, like it's a lot to handle, especially if you have high expectations too. So I decided to hire a video editor in the Philippines to edit my property tour videos. So because I'm very picky, it took me a month to find someone. And again, because of my past experience working with videos, I know what is good. And so everything worked out well. He's still with me, and yeah, he's doing my property videos 3 times a week. My assistant is doing 1 video a week, and I try to post 2 videos a week, like 1 educational and 1 property tour. So my call to action. So you might be wondering, okay, well, if you put all these content, like how are you going to get business? Well, YouTube, like the more you have to think about it from a viewer perspective, like you, like, do you ever watch, do you have like a favorite chef that you always watch? The more you watch them, like the more you like them, you start to build trust, right? And so let's say if that person ever advertised like, hey, buy this, buy that, like most likely you will, because if that person is who you like you're gonna automatically trust them. So you want the viewers to watch more of your videos. So that's why you have to come up with a lot of content and constantly put out informational videos. And then on my videos, sometimes if it makes sense, I will ask them to like, yeah, if you want a free home buyer guide, click here and they'll download it. So that's how I capture my leads. And then I always try to be engaging on my comments, saying, hey, which floor plans do you like? Or have you made any of these mistakes? So then you want to create the engagement. Again, YouTube, it's not about like selling. Like I know a lot of realtors, even me when I first started doing my YouTube videos, I would say things like, hey, call me if you're thinking about buying and selling a home. Well, they didn't come to YouTube to find a realtor. Like they came to YouTube to find information on whatever they're struggling with. So you want to be a resource for them. And then of course, again, if they like you, they feel like you had an impact on them, like they will reach out to you. Like you don't have to hard sell.
There's no zip code in YouTube. That's the account number. This is the Swift code.
So, okay. So here's my schedule. I post educational videos every Thursday. My property tour videos, I try to post every Tuesday. So I think someone's audio is on.
Amanda, you can hit mute all and then unmute yourself.
Okay. I think I knew. Okay. Okay. So here are my results. So I started in June 2020 when I actually started producing video and posting them. So my first lead, so this is like unlikely, but this doesn't really happen, but I don't know. Like I think with COVID, everyone is just at home watching YouTube and they just happen to stumble across my channel, or people might be wondering about purchasing home during this time. So my first lead came in on July 14th. And when lead comes in, it's a totally different mindset. Like you can't.
Once we put the account number or the Swift code, it will pop up the bank name.
I
Hey,
think
Mo,
it's Mo. I think it's Mo.
mute yourself, please. Thanks, Mo.
Okay, so can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, shoot. Okay, let me, I think I accidentally clicked out my PowerPoint, so let me go back. Okay, so my first lead came in on July 14. What I was saying is that when you capture the information, you cannot hard sell. Like don't be the typical realtor asking them if they want to buy or sell or where, you have to, like, for example, this lead, Jasmine, right? When I reach out to her, I just say, hey, Jasmine, I just want to make sure that you received, the home buyer guide or what you are looking for. Please let me know if there is any other information that I can provide to you. So again, always provide. And so she responded back saying that she's thinking about buying a condo next year. So we got in touch, did a Zoom call yesterday. She talked to my lender and she won't be ready until sometime the end of the year to early next year. And then her sister is going to be buying too because they're renting. And so again, it's all about building trust and being the expert, being knowledgeable that they can ask questions. My second lead came in July 20th, and this person, they tried to reach out to me in email, but then I had an incorrect email address. It was a typo, and so they reached out to me on my Facebook Messenger, and they are interested in buying, the single family home in communication cell. And because, again, I've already put so much videos now that they already know what they want. And when they reach out to you, it's almost like it's all about conversion. There's a higher chance of converting the lead because otherwise they won't be watching our stuff or they won't even think about buying or selling a home. And so lead came in, we got a contract just a few days after, and we're closing at the end of August. And if you look at it, like from June to August, like I'm closing one deal. And so good results so far. But again, this from, I don't know, talking to other people too, like this is rare. It doesn't happen too often. And then when I first met them in the parking lot, it was very awkward for me because this is my first time, but they didn't know that, but you don't have to tell them that too. And so, but then just by knowing the lead, just the way they are, like they're introverts. And I unfortunately, I also had to ask them like, hey, is this awkward? And they're like, no, YouTube does a very good job. And so, we already watched your videos and, we feel very comfortable and we want you as our realtor. And so it's like, you don't even have to compete. And you also have to think about that. If they are searching, right, for all these videos and they decide they want to work with you, most likely they've looked at other realtor too and they didn't go with them. And so there's a higher chance of conversion depending on your personality, the content that you put out, how helpful you are. And so again, don't be salesy. Okay, so I can show you some of my videos, like very short clip so you can get an idea. Okay, please do not subscribe to my channel because it's gonna mess up my algorithm, just like Facebook. I don't run any ads, but then with YouTube, if you subscribe to my channel, YouTube is gonna show my video to people that are like you, which like you in terms of like being a realtor, they might show it to other realtor, which I don't want because that's gonna mess up my algorithm. So I don't mind showing you my videos, but again, just please don't subscribe to my channel. Another thing is that you don't have to worry so much about gaining subscribers, trying to increase your subscriber. As long as people are watching your videos, that should be enough because the whole goal is that you want people to watch, like you, and then when it comes to buying or selling a home, they will call you. So this was the very first video that I did. I have 241 views.
Are you buying a house in the Bay Area? That is what we are going to talk about today.
So it's just again, just
Hi, I'm Amanda Vang with Keller Williams Realty in San Jose, California. I post new videos every Thursday, all things real estate in San Jose and the surrounding Bay Area, Silicon Valley. Are you buying a house in the Bay Area? In this video series, I have 8 essential home buying tips for you. Buying a home can be one of the most exciting adventures in your life.
so it's just, as you can see, it's just educational videos. And that's my first video, and it's very different from how I do my videos now. And then we go on property tours. So it is a lot of work. Like, it's very tiring, but it is well worth it because these content, it's going to be on YouTube forever, for a much more longer time than Instagram, Facebook. And so, and also you have to keep in mind that Google also owns YouTube's, and it's all about keyword search. And it's like, if you show up on Google, then most likely people are going to click on your video. And so here's a property tour video that Michael and we did.
Community.
This is this herringbone pattern flooring. It takes a lot more work to do that, but it's totally worth it. It's a great look. You have the garage on the left, so easy access. You park your cars. And then on the first floor, there's a full suite. Take a look at this beautiful room. I love what they've done. The backsplash behind the bed. Look at this patterned wallpaper. This built.
So how we do our videos, so there's no right or wrong answer on how you want to do your videos. Like with ours, we like to talk, because of our experience in terms of home renovation and like the materials, Michael and we have like a very good idea about those things. So we tend to talk about like the features of like the model homes, because that's kind of what sells the home. I have seen other videos where people talk about like the community, the surroundings, which is perfectly fine. It's just, again, it's up to you on what you want to showcase. And so these videos, like, it is very tiring. Sometimes like we do back to back and it will take the whole 7 hours just trying to get a whole community done. And so model homes, like one model home to do one video, it takes us about an hour, because we have to do B-rolls. We have to make sure that pretty much everything is just right, because we're very picky in general in terms of quality. So that's pretty, let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna be talking now about like my follow-up plan and command. So I will put their contact in command. If you have not used command, I highly recommend, because it's free and it's very useful. The tags that I created 2020, so I know that the buyer came from this year. So at the end of the year, I want to see, how many leads did I have for this year, so I can be better at my numbers. And so Robert Cruz was actually the one who recommended me to do this. So a big thanks to him for that. And then YouTube, the lead source, where is the buyer coming from, and is it a buyer or a seller? So I know, and if I want to do like an email blast, I know who to target. I add all my communication in the notes. And so my follow-up plan, again, let's say if you reach out to them and they don't respond to you, don't keep like emailing them. Like for me, I just put them in a drip campaign, because if they watch your stuff, most likely, if anything you post on YouTube, it's going to show up on their newsfeed anyways. And I have a first-time home buyer drip campaign. I just put them on there, and it sends them an email. Well, the first month, it sends them 2 emails, and then 1 email after that. So YouTube is all about personality. It's all about, if they like you, they will just work with you. You don't really have to compete with other agents. So here is command. So for example, like, let me go over. So for example, let's say, here, I'll just do a testing, like, I'll add their email. This is in case for people who don't use, who haven't started using this. And then again, tags, 2020, lead source, buyer, again, add the notes. Make sure text, you just want to be careful with this because sometimes they might actually send a text. So if you're taking notes, just put quick note so you don't confuse yourself. If you have not, under settings, I subscribe to Twilio, so you can automatically text people from your keyboard, which is great to save you a lot of time. Smart plan. Again, when like earlier this year, I went in and put in all my drip campaign on here. So I always put them on like my first time home buyer drip campaign. So as you can see, 2-day delay to send this email. After 14 days, send this email. I don't have any text in here. I'm gonna have to, when I get a chance to go back and edit them. I also add them to the quarterly plan. If they have a phone number, I always do this. So make sure you always call your database once every quarter because you just don't know. It's always good to check in too. So that's what I do. Once they become my client and we close a transaction, I put the home anniversary. I usually send them a card. I also put them for my birthday smart plan as well. So I do all that. So going to the settings, if you have not done this, make sure you utilize the system. It's very good. Twilio, right here. If you want to be able to send text, or when you create smart plans and it's going to do auto text, it will just send. You don't have to worry about have to manually send them a text. If you are not doing monthly newsletter, I highly recommend that you do. Make sure you connect your MailChimp here. It is free. So everyone's newsletter is different. Let me see. I can show you my newsletter to give you an idea. I send this out once every month because it's a good way to, just so your database know what you're up to. Because you don't want to be a secret agent. So here's my July newsletter. Again, if you use command, it will sync your contact for you. So in MailChimp, you don't have to manually enter everyone's contact. It would just be here in MailChimp. So again, so with my newsletter, I always like to talk about something personal, like food in general, because everyone loves food. So it's a good way to connect with people. And then anything that I have going on, and then my coming soon, and then my educational video, and then any events, and I just like to do trivia. That's pretty much it. So that's kind of how I use command with everything, like when I get a lead in general. So they all go to my monthly newsletter. So let me go back to the PowerPoint to see if I've missed anything that I'm supposed to cover. Oh, okay. I remember what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Okay, so if you have not read the MRA book, make sure you read it. If you are wondering, like what Wilson had mentioned, what kind of marketing do you want to do? On page 138, it goes over like all your options. you know, the prospecting and marketing. You just need to decide what you want to do, pick one, and then just try to see if you like it. Because honestly, like when I first started, it's all in try and error. Like you do cold calling, you door knock, you do farming, you do spare influence, database, and then you will learn what works for you. Because let's say if you don't try it and you just don't do anything, like you're just going to be as lost as you are. And so make sure you read a shift book too, because with our current situation with the COVID, the shift talks about like online lead generation. Again, this was kind of how I got into YouTube after trying to figure out what is it that I want to do with online. So make sure that you're constantly reading, especially during this time, because this is a perfect opportunity to work on your back end, to grow your business. Like, again, lead generation is very crucial. So you need to think about, you know, do you have time or do you have money? I don't have money, so I rather spend more time because, again, for me, it's all long term. So I kind of went over the database already. I think I kind of went over this on my last presentation earlier a couple months ago. So I do all of this. So just so you know, just try to touch your database as much as you can. Come up with a system, and if you don't want to reinvent the wheel, just do what they tell you on here. Like 4 touches, I do quarterly calls. 12 touches, my monthly newsletter. And then 2 touches. One, like I usually do a calendar. I think I'm going to change it this year. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. And then I do my pie giveaway during Thanksgiving around that time. So you just kind of have to think, what is it that you want to do, and come up with a system. So we talked about that. I really like the tags. So this is really good. I use it all the time. Let's see. Okay, that's it on my end. Okay, so we're gonna open up to Q&As.
Hey Hilda, do we still have time for more stuff? Because I'm supposed to share the whole sub point about community building and all that.
Yeah,
you have time?
Yes,
Oh.
I think so.
So let me make you the
host again.
Okay. I don't have that capability. Hilda, can you make Wilson a host, please?
You actually go to participant. I can't make him because you're the.
Oh, sorry.
Click on my video, and then there's the make me a host thing.
Yeah, sorry. I was on a different screen. Okay, there you go.
So he's lined up. Excellent. Technically have until noon, so please take your time.
Okay, I'm not going to take so long, guys. Just want to share with you certain things about what I'm doing, because I've been receiving a lot of phone calls about this, and I thought I'd just go through it with you guys once and for all. I'm doing a lot of community building activities, and this is nothing new. If you look at people, what Lupita used to do, what Timothy Chow used to do, they host a lot of events and all that. What I am actually doing is taking the engagement for these events online, but there is still an event or a community aspect tied to whatever I'm doing online. Okay, so you guys are very familiar with spear marketing. You're marketing to your friends, marketing to your own community, and you guys are very familiar with advertising, right? Community approach basically ties these two together. Okay, because they know who I am, but I'm still promoting a particular event or a particular thing that I want them to do. So it's actually in between. I repeat, they know who I am, but they still want me to do something. Okay. And this has been my lifeblood for the last 6 months or so. Give 1 second. Okay. So this is really how I've been getting all my leads, and this used to account for about 20% to 25% of my business. But in terms of future pipeline, because of the COVID situation, this now accounts for close to 70% to 80% of all upcoming business for me. So if you guys were to go to the KWSC group and then you search for my name, you just see the post that I have been making. Because this session is recorded, I'm not going to share the messages here, but just go to the Facebook group, just search for my name. You see how people are coming to me. Okay, basically what happens is I send out these messages to 300, 400, 500 people. And usually I don't say I'm a realtor or anything, but along the way, there's a, oh, by the way, oh, I'm actually working. Hey, I'm a realtor, by the way. Let's say something like that. You'll be very surprised how many people actually reach back out to you individually. Okay, if you were to search my name again, I have 13 or 14 leads. Not a single one of them is me going towards them, or every single one of them was them coming towards me. So I repeat, my outbound, the prospecting part was 5 to 500 people. My inbound was 14, 15 people. Okay, so it's a cross between advertising and prospecting. How do I get these audience? I think I'll go through that later. Okay, and actually, if you talk about communities, you guys are actually already familiar with communities. You actually belong to one. If you belong to our Facebook group, that's a community that you belong to. The problem is this, KWSC, and you're not going to sell homes to anybody within this Facebook group. But then how do you branch out, find more groups where, number one, you can come from a point of contribution. This is the most important point, and Amanda made this very, very clear. You need to come from a point of contribution. If you do not come from a point of contribution, you just go into the groups and you go, number one realtor, use me, yay. No one's going to give you any business. Okay? And Maha, you asked me the question, how do I get these audiences? It's basically joining these groups. And when you join this group, initially you're the user. That means you join this group to gain a certain purpose. But as you make yourself more and more valuable, things change. And I'm going to share that with you later on. Yes, I use WhatsApp and everything as well. Now, Maha, I use Facebook and I use WhatsApp and I use WeChat and I use a lot of other stuff. It's not just one particular tool. It's wherever my audience is, I go to my audience. If they are on WhatsApp, I'll go to WhatsApp. And this, as a realtor, you guys should know all these tools. If you want to target the Asian audience, guys, you guys need to download WeChat. It's as simple as that. Okay? And the question I want to ask all of you guys out there, I know a lot of you guys use Facebook. You guys are very used to posting on your own wall, right? Your own wall, your own timeline and whatever. How many of you actually actively post in groups? How do you manage and sleep? I don't sleep. I slept at 5 a.m. last night because I was managing an event. Okay. Yeah. How many groups do you guys belong to? Because what you see, I think most of you are my friends on Facebook. You see what I'm posting on my wall. Now, I want to apologize. A lot of what you see on my Facebook isn't meant for you. Okay. But the way Facebook works is I need to post on my wall. I need to make the post public. And then what happens is I then can share to all the different groups. So I hope you understand. It's on my wall, it's public, and then I can cross-share to all the different groups. Okay? And I'm just going to tell you the journey that I went through about how I got myself into my current position from being a user to being a leader in the community groups. Okay, it started back in 2017 before I even became a realtor. I was just a typical volunteer for any of these events. So these groups that I joined is actually culturally based. It's actually a Singaporean group. I was just a typical volunteer. Then after 2018, after going to the talk that I mentioned to you earlier about Lupita and she was talking about giving out cream pies for Thanksgiving. I do not have an audience to give out cream pies to. Okay, I'm not sure whether any of you remember, but our company used to do a lot of those Christmas parties. I couldn't invite a single one of my friends or prospects to come for the Christmas parties. There is just a cultural divide over there. But then, so what did I do? If you guys don't want to come for my Christmas party, I'm going to create a Lunar New Year party for you. And that's what I did. So basically, I just went to the organizing committee and said, hey, I know you guys are very tired. You guys have been doing this for 10 years. How about I take the lead on this? And that is exactly what I did. I just went down there and said, look, I want to volunteer and I want to lead your project. Okay, guys, I just want you guys to go out there. Just go out there, engage these groups. A lot of them are older people. They are tired. They are after organizing 1 or 2 years. They are very, very tired. They are always looking for fresh blood. Like even my own group right now, I'm looking for fresh blood. You guys go in there. Don't try to sell your real estate services or anything. Just be useful. Just come from a point of contribution. People will actually. Is someone talking in the background? Hello.
Starbucks
Hello?
or oh.
Starbucks.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Justin, you can mute everyone as the host.
How do I mute everyone? Sorry, I'm not very used to this thing.
Participants tab, you can mute all.
That was Mo again.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah. But as you can see, my progression from 2017 onwards, how I became a leader in my group. Do come from a point of contribution, volunteer. After you become an event leader, the event leader, I actually use this opportunity to reach out individually to all the people who belong to our community. I gave them phone calls, I texted them, I reached out to 150
Hello.
families.
How are you? Do you have an egg sandwich, the breakfast egg?
No more. I do not have a
Someone
egg.
is on. Tell them to mute.
It's Mo again.
Somebody call
Wilson,
him.
as the host, you can mute all.
How do I just don't know how to do it.
Under the participants tab, you can mute all.
Hey, Mo, with a laugh. He gives us a little laugh.
I can't find it.
I can't use it.
Someone.
I can't use it. Are you sure?
God.
Is he muted? Okay, but basically I was saying that once you become the event leader, one thing you actually get is a database. Once you become an event leader, they actually give you the entire database and say, hey, Wilson, can you reach out to all these 150 families to ask them to come for this event? Okay, just a heads up. I actually have the phone numbers and emails of like 1,200 to 1,300 people right now. I don't abuse it, but like I said, if you guys were talking about getting numbers, getting and all that kind of stuff, this is how I did it. Okay, and how my progression works is towards 2018, 2020, they actually asked me to join the committee. We gave media interviews. We reached out to the entire Bay Area. I belong to 3 WhatsApp groups in the Bay Area here that consists of over 800 people. And just now I told you how I do outbound. I reached out to 500 people and I get 15 leads in. This is how I do my outbound. Just simple 3 messages to 3 WhatsApp groups and 6 Facebook groups. This gives me an outreach of 2,000, 2,500 people. And I don't say I'm a realtor, but in the comments, when people reply you, just, oh, sorry, I'm very busy right now. Oh, so real estate is a tough business. Those little comments was how I got my first 5 leads. They'll be like, hey, Wilson, I heard you mentioned that you're a realtor. It always starts like that. Oh, I just saw somewhere that you're a realtor. By the way, do you handle this area? Every single lead was inbound to me. Okay. And right now, where I am right now is in 2020. If you guys are on my Facebook again, I have started a lot of my own projects because I have this community backing. Okay. It used to be I was helping the community. Then it became I was leading the community. Right now, I'm bringing the community in different directions, whichever direction I choose, because I'm the leader. I'm the bull driving the direction of the community. So yeah, this was when it really, really took off because I drove the community in certain directions during COVID-19. And that's where I got my 13, 14 leads. And out of these 13, 14 leads, because there is abundance, I threw away those leads that wanted discounts. So this goes back to what Yvette used to teach in the past, what some of the other coaches used to teach in the past. If you accept discount business, you will become a discount agent. It's as simple as that. So I struggled with that for a while, but right now, because I have this abundance, I don't have to accept discount business. I rejected 3 to 4 leads because they wanted discounts. I still have 10 leads left. Okay. And there's one thing I wanted to tell you guys. The whole reason why I really like this community approach was like, especially the newer agents again. Okay. When you guys go towards a lead, as specifically a realtor, what happens? They will be comparing you with other realtors. There's no way to it. There's no way around it. They'll be like, oh, hi, I'm interviewing 5 realtors. I'm interviewing 7 realtors. You're fighting against the Mary Tans, the Alan Wangs of the world. when I do my social community projects and they engage me as a realtor, I never had to fight with anybody, because when they engage me as a realtor, they're first engaging me because they know me as a community leader. And after that, they go, oh, by the way, you are a realtor. We want to use you because we see what you are doing for the community or for the group. It doesn't mean you can do a bad job or you can just relax, because if you do a good job, they're going to spread the word. But I never had to fight. I never really had to fight. Once the lead inbounds, it's practically mine. Okay, my biggest challenge and my biggest worries from this inbound leads is the listing agent trying to double end deals. I lost 3 deals this year. All of them are through the listing agent trying to double end and giving massive discounts. Okay, so this is basically how my progression works. You're from a user, you go to become a volunteer, you become an event leader, and then you just drive the whole project going on. And there are 2 ways to do this. One, you can actually join existing groups, those with leadership, people who are getting tired, or you can actually just create your own group, but that's a lot more work. Okay. And one more thing about, although I started on Facebook and what you guys think is it's like a pure social media strategy, it is not. As mentioned to you, it's community based. So from social media, I'm actually going to a lot to events. I'm actually working, because of my position as a leader in this particular group right now, I have local merchants reaching out to me. I have Rabbit Tea from Santana Row. I have Anton's Pastel reaching out to me. I have about 12 to 15 restaurants reaching out to me. So if I ever decide to branch in the direction of working with commercial side of things, I from not knowing anybody, now I do know a lot of people in the commercial side of business. Okay, and also because of how social media works, it's not just a Bay Area thing. I actually am part of the New York Association, the Washington Association, the Chicago Association, LA Association. And the good thing is this, is like people are always inbounding. People are always coming into the Bay Area. Okay, so for example, I closed a deal with Miko and Grace just last month. I closed 891 Shirley Avenue in Sunnyvale. The folks that who bought the place have been here only about 6 months. And they didn't know a single realtor. They met me on those groups. They're like, hey, Wilson, we need a realtor. And that's it. And the very first time I actually met them in person was the day they signed a contract. I don't think Grace and Miko knows this, but I only met the clients once before we got the property. Okay? But that's the power of groups. It's leverage. Now you're going as a realtor, but once you have a group behind you, you talk to me, I can talk to 2,000 Singaporeans for you. And that's the power I have right now, leverage. Okay, and this is the most important thing that I like to bring up is usually we talk about food. If you don't know what to post, what to talk about on these community groups, just post food, just post about what you're eating, all the good restaurants. People like to get involved. Don't post about politics, simple as that. Okay, and yeah, like I mentioned to you, I really like this strategy because I'm no longer forced to compete head on with the top realtors. My coaches in last year, and maybe Hilda and also Tam, they know what my challenges last year. I'm working in a sphere where Coco Tan, Mary Tan, Anson Yips are actively fighting with me for the clients. They know my clients, and there's no way for me to compete. They have teams, they are willing to give discounts and all that kind of stuff. But this is how I'm doing to change it. I'm actually changing the way I approach the client. And for the new realtors, consider this. If you're going in as a realtor, you will be challenged as a realtor. If you go in, find a way to go around it, go in as a community member, you will be embraced as such. So that's what I want to share. And yeah, I know a lot of you guys are facing a lot of problems with the first initial interviews. Okay. Yeah, and this is the main thing I want to share. Being a community-based approach allows me to deviate away from being just the realtor to being the main guy in my community. There is this, because these communities tend to be a big round ball where everybody knows everybody. Once you are in there and you are the main guy in that community, I don't have to do a single thing. People are referring me out of goodwill. And they're not even my clients. They're not even my friends. I do not know these people at all. I really do not know these people, because if I add all 2,000 to my Facebook, that's way too much. but they are referring me. I'm very surprised to hear my name like just pop up from someone and say, oh, you need a realtor. Oh, this guy is a realtor. And that's how it works. And this, once you get it rolling, you still need to come from point of contribution. It just keeps rolling. And by point of contribution, like I mentioned to you, I'm hosting an event for 300 families this Saturday. Next week, I'm going to do a cake drive where we're going to engage a baker, a specific baker from Chicago to do deliveries into the Bay Area. It doesn't take me much time. It's just posting a few posts. Hey guys, whoever wants to take orders, come and join us. But it allows me to engage these people. And then it's up to me. Do I want to do hand delivery? If I do hand delivery, I can actually talk to all these people. Or do I just want to say, I'm very tired, I can just ask someone else to do the delivery? The key thing is this, number one, it costs me nothing. I'm not paying a single cent for this. I'm not paying a single cent to reach out to these people. And I am in control when I want to do it, how I want to do it, because I'm the main guy. It's just that. Okay? And you want to see my results from this particular event. It took me 18 months. Okay, I started all this volunteering stuff back in 2018, 2017. I only closed my first sale from this particular event only last month. But the total combined GC, not gross revenue, the total combined gross revenue from these sales combined, $80,000. Okay, 3 sales is about 80,000 because I don't give discounts. Yeah, 2 closed sales, 1 pending, all from the so-called the Singaporean group. I actually have 1 active, and the 1 active is a 2-sided deal because it's a 1031 exchange. All these were from the community group. I did not have to fight a single one of them. So like, is Miko here? Miko like to ask me, Wilson, how do I get my clients to listen to me? I just tell her I don't have this problem because of the way I approach my clients. I'm approaching them very differently from you. You guys are being challenged head on as a realtor. I'm just the guy who's supposed to help them, just the big cuddly guy. Okay. And yeah, like I mentioned to you, I actually lost a few because they wanted discounts. It's okay, screw them. I don't care about them. But you look at my pipeline coming up. I have 2 coming up in August, September, October, December. I have actually even more next year. They are lining up. They're just getting ready. And none of this was me reaching out to them. Every single one of them was them reaching out to me. And that's the beauty of it. It makes your life a lot easier. And that's why I'm putting in so much effort into this community thing. The results speak for themselves. The community is probably about 800 families. If you take away the students and the non-people who come by, probably a 400. I have 15 of them. 15 out of 400, what's the percentage? 3%? Yeah, it's about 3 to 4%. And if 15 deals, I'll gladly put in 50% of my business hours into doing all this. Yeah, it's as simple as that. Okay, so guys, if you have anything coming up here that's relevant to my buyers, please let me know. Thank you. And yeah, and this is the key thing I want to tell people out there, all the realtors out there. These people, when they come to me and I ask them, hey, so by the way, why did you decide to use me as a realtor? They all told me one single thing. They can't find a realtor right now. They can't find a realtor right now because, as Amanda mentioned, all of you are being secret agents. Okay, the top realtors right now, the ones who are doing a lot of advertising, the ones who are going out there, they're getting a lot of the business because the clients can't find you. Then the question is, how actually are you going to make them find you? Okay, and this community strategy only consists about 30%, 25% of what I'm doing. Wilson also show very online, yeah. This is actually just 30% of my strategy. If you guys are friends with me on Facebook, I also do the construction side of things, which has netted me also about 30% of my sales. And I'm going to start engaging other projects to get clients. Okay, so if you're a new realtor here, let me ask you, what are you doing to get clients? Really, you guys just need to answer this question. If you do not have the cash put in the sweat equity, you can't do door knocking, you can't do open houses right now. Do something. There's a lot of virtual events. Just do some side hustle thing that gets you clients. It's worth it. Like the earlier part of this year, before my community thing took off, I was doing a lot of those construction projects. I think, yeah. And I'm getting referred to Chinese clients interested in buying teardowns right now. Okay, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'll do it. Simply because I got the business. Okay, and and this is one thing to note. A lot of the newer agents here, you're very focused on, oh, Wilson, I must get my knowledge in before I actually look for the clients. Guys, it's perfectly okay to get the clients first and then panic. Okay, because when you panic, Hilda is there for you, Mark is there for you, Tam is there for you. I panic a lot in the past, but that's why you join this big office with so much support. Okay, but show it, get your clients in first. Without your clients, you can't learn. How do you learn without the clients? You're practicing against the empty wall and all that. So just go out there and do your lead generation and have multiple strategies, but do something. Just do something. Okay, that's all. Thank you.